and you know, roll it up, and I mean, like, do you have a backpack?
He has root.
Do you have a backpack?
I've got a bag of flower weeds, which I can dump out.
Can we like put it over D'Artagnan's back like a horse blanket?
I think if you just like randomly drape this painting over D'Artagnan's back,
I'm not comfortable with that.
You're right.
It needs proper care. Well, if you have a bag, you should probably carry it, Kate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Cool.
I don't have a bag.
And it's just the one portrait we're taking, right? Are we doing
the flowers? Are we taking the flowers?
I'm down the Roubaud style vase with.
Are they
the vase? It's a vase. It's gonna be hard to transport without breaking, isn't it?
You know, we could wrap the vase in the canvas portrait. Give it a little bit of padding. Okay. Now let's leave the vase then. You know.
Yeah, we can.
It'll probably get broke in transport.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's leave the vase.
Move it to like the attic. That way, if the swamp, the house sinks, it'll be the last thing to sink.
Good idea.
Move the vase upstairs.
I moved the vase upstairs. Yeah.
All right. In fact, you hear from upstairs Evie rummaging around. So Evie, you've headed to the top of the stairs, and then you've headed to the left. And there's a hallway where, like, immediately straight ahead is the guest room that the 12 of you spent the night in. And then there's a hallway that moves off to the right and it proceeds towards the back of the house. And that's where the locked guest room is. So you stick in the key, turn it, and, it's a little bit sort of like old and rusted over or something like that. Like it takes a little bit of force, but thunk, after a little bit, you manage to turn it. And inside is this dust-covered old guest room, just unused for years. And there's there's a big bed in the center of the room that's just like covered with fine clothes, but they're all pretty moth-eaten. There's just a few pieces of finery that are poking out of the pile itself. In the eastern wall to your right, there's an open doorway that has like a long red curtain hanging over it so you can't see into the room beyond.
Yeah, Evelyn has like a bit of a background, or Evie has a bit of a background like in fancy places, and so she's not like immediately like dazzled by the clothes, and she's kind of like got a familiar idea of where, rich people would hide stuff in their bedrooms, and so she's gonna beeline right for the curtain and just like so carefully like peek in.
Awesome. It's the ballroom.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then she looks back and there's the bed, and then it's the ballroom, and it's just a cloth door in between.
Yep. It's actually, so you like pull aside the curtains, and you might remember that the ballroom has like long red floor to ceiling curtains all along the two walls. So there's just like you can part the curtains in here, and there's just a slip through into a bedroom right next to the ballroom.
Okay, so she's got a better idea of what kind of bedroom this might be, and the employ of the people who might be hiding things, and so she's going to take that knowledge and use that to sort of like peek around the room. So I think Evie would ignore the clothes on the bed first and like just straight lift up the mattress and see if there's anything like tucked away under there.
Yeah, absolutely. Lifting up the mattress reveals immediately a number of things. One, there's a delicate silver necklace that's incredibly finely crafted. Two, there's a pair of ermine gloves that are like still very well preserved. They've been hidden away under this mattress, and they have not been eaten by moths. Three, you find like a large place card with like beautiful scripting on the front. And it says, an invitation to a froggy fete at Frogomance. And then in fine spidery handwriting, the pleasure of Lady Ulna Duday's presence is requested for a fabulous froggy fete at Frogomance. Crocodile skin is the latest fashion. And when you turn over the card on the back, there's a crude map that's drawn showing the rough sketch of Hall du Day and a few landmarks. And then the destination is a large stone doorway carved in the shape of the mouth of a frog. And this is the same map that you saw in the journal.
Yeah, and that map we've decided corresponds to somewhere else in the swamp, not in the building we're currently in.
Oh yeah, it's very clearly like here is Hall du Day, and then here's like out in the swamp, landmark A, landmark B, landmark C.
And is there a date and time or like an RSVP that they want me to contact?
Yes, there is a date and time, but it was like 52 years ago.
Ah, got it.
Yep. This is something that has been saved for a very long time and not an upcoming fete.
I'm late. I'm for a very important date. Okay. She'll grab all that. The silver necklace. It's not like in like a spell shape in the middle of like a salt circle or something, right? It's just kind of like thrown in there with the.
It's just thrown in there.
She's just gonna grab that then, and then kick around for any kind of like loose flagstones. Go through any drawers. Kind of look for false bottoms, things like that.
Yeah, you do a thorough accounting of the rest of the contents of the room, and really like whatever else might have been valuable in here, it was really the clothing, which has unfortunately just decayed with time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and we have not discussed a Lady Olna before, or have we? Do you guys recall?
I think that was the lady of the House of Today.
That was her. Okay.
Yeah.
Grandmama.
Grandma. My notes are more complete now. Evie's gonna run back to the group like in a hurry and kind of just hand them the invitation. The necklace and the gloves, it's not that she's hiding them. She just doesn't think they're that important to mention or that valuable, so she kind of just tucked them away.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm just checking on y'all's character sheets to make sure that I have a good accounting of all the like treasure valuables that you're bringing with you. And I think that it amounts to the portrait, the scepter, the gloves, and the necklace.
Did Henley not find anything? Henley just found like rocks. And thought they were cool. I'm totally fine with that. Henley's not super smart.
Oh wait, we had to.
They come back with a handful of like wet
We
rocks.
had to account for Babs. I did everybody else, but not Babs. So let's.
Also,
see.
we have the spell books, the 2 spell books. I don't know if you note that as a valuable, but it sounds.
I don't note those as valuables because the utility of spell books is that they contain spells. They would be probably quite hard to shift as like sold items. You're more likely to like, as burgeoning wizards, Strej and Babs both know that like publicizing the fact that they have spell books is almost inviting other wizards to try and come take them from you, more than allowing for any sort of open market trade. But you probably could shift them if you like dedicated some effort to it. So let's see.
I have a question too. I remember there was this chapel, thanks to Anna in my chat, reminds me that there's this like Bobugwabil's chapel. And I remember at first we couldn't go in, then we could go in, but we weren't allowed to touch anything because we weren't servants of Bobugwabil's. Would I think that there's any finery in there that needed to be saved from the swamp?
So Babs, you think of 3 things. One, somehow you remember that someone had found like back in the servants' quarters, there was like a hallway that dead ended in like a locked armoire. And you have a key now. So that's item number 1 is like, I wonder what's in that locked armoire, because maybe there's something valuable. Number 2 is, you know, these houses may not have a lot of money hanging out, but you know what's valuable? Silverware. And in the dining hall, there's a sideboard that might contain some valuables. And 3, another thing that tends to be quite valuable is fine gaming equipment. And in the sunken room to the east of the entrance hall, the gaming room where the billiards table was, there might be some things like hidden around in there that would be valuable. So these are the 3 things that you think of. Is there one of these that sounds immediately appealing to Babs?
Well, Babs could really use some new ale cups, you know. So she would definitely want to go look at the the silverware and the cutlery and on all that stuff. But since Henley is so intent on finding something, she might let Henley have the key and just be like, have at it.
Cool.
And send
Awesome.
Henley over toward the locked door.
Excellent. So Babs heads to the dining hall and pulls open the sideboard. And first of all, there's like literal silver, as in silverware. And you can grab it all. So you've got like a sack of silverware that is made of silver and is worth a substantial amount of coinage. So I'll mark that down on my accounting. Silverware. Babs. You also think that these like carved crystal goblets would be worth some amount of money, but they're very delicate, very fragile.
Nah.
If you manage to grab them, okay, Babs is not doing fragile. Totally fine. Henley, meanwhile, runs back into the servants' quarters area, like scrabbles around to various of the servants' rooms before remembering, oh wait, we've got this armoire at the end of the hall. Runs to the end of the armoire, shoves the key in, turns it, click, swings open the armoire, and like a gust of cold air puffs out of the armoire as Henley gazes down into a set of stairs carved in stone, descending into the earth.
Henley just goes on
Shortcut
down.
to Froggoman.
Henley just like just goes down.
Amazing. So Henley scrabbles down the stairs and just like runs along this hall. What heritage is Henley? What species?
I feel like I remember that Henley was a halfling, but that might have just been because they were so small in my head.
Let's take a look. Heritage. Human.
Human. They're just
I think they're just
human.
They're a gremlin in spirit.
Yes.
So it very quickly gets very dark.
Well, I have a torch, so I
see that.
I'll light that torch.
We should roll 1d3 to see how many torches you have.
I have at least one.
Yes.
Let's see. Roll d3. I have
one torch.
I light
Fantastic. Okay, awesome. Yeah. The bright light shines through the filth of the gloom and illuminates a long hall. There are like spots along the hall where it like dips down and there's a little bit of like swamp water that has seeped in through the stones and it makes like a little puddle. At the end of the hall is like an arched wooden door in a stone frame.
Henley muses to themselves how lovely it would be to live down here and walks toward the door.
Regrettably few chickens, but
Yes.
Henley splashes confidently down the hall, reaches the door. No sweat.
Does it open? Henley will try to open it.
Absolutely. You pull on the door and it swings forwards open. And again, like a cold rush of air as you reveal like a small but small but well-kept mausoleum. There are empty sconces on the wall for torches. It's pitch black without light, but since you've got your torch, you can hold it into the room and shine it around and see what's going on. It's surprisingly dry in here. There are 6 low cairns sort of around the room, and at the far end to the right, there are 2 empty stone sarcophagi. The inscription carved into the very back wall to the left reads, "The strength of Duday is in the blood."
Do the sarcophagi that are empty look like they have previously been occupied and are now empty, or they're waiting for new occupants?
Are you like going over and shining the torch around? Yeah, these look like they are waiting for occupants. They have not been occupied.
Can I, read who's in here? Whose final resting place is this?
Yeah, there's 4 names that you've never seen before. Ragnagard and
Ragnagard.
Edelberth,
Yes.
4 random frog names, and then the 2 under the engraved inscription, "The strength of Duday is in the blood," are Sterum and Ulna.
Is there anything else in here? Like anything shiny?
Not that's visible to you, Henley.
And is there anything that looks like it could be a secret door of any kind or any other like exit from this place?
Now, elves get an automatic chance to detect secret doors, but unfortunately, as a human, Henley doesn't have that intuition. But if you want to start like pushing stuff, messing with things, then I might be able to tell you more.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I mean, Henley is, as you said, gremlin child. So Henley's just kind of like poking stuff and scratching at stuff and like looking in
God.
holes and stuff.
Leeches are coming.
I feel fine now.
Yeah, as you look around more thoroughly, the first thing that you see is that the sarcophagi containing Ulna and Sterum both have like lots of scratching on the surface of like where the sarcophagus meets the lid, far more than on any of these other sarcophagi. Not like fingernail scratching, but like stone against stone, like they're worn down and grounded. Yeah.
Like they've like come out and gone back in a few times?
Or that the lids have been removed and replaced multiple times.
Does it seem like it is easy to remove one of these lids?
I wouldn't call it easy. It is a big stone slab, but it is certainly possible for Henley.
Henley's just a little curious little gremlin peek. Just a little like, just move the edge and just light the torch and just peek in there.
Sterum or Ulna?
Ulna.
Cool. You with a hefty shove, you grind the stone lid to the side. And you can see through the crack that you've made, there's glittering jewelry adorning the skeletal corpse of Ulna, Lady Ulna today.
Henley is overcome, like, just being a curious little Henley, and then like Abu in Aladdin, like, and just kind of like,
randomly just says out loud, "How dare you?" He doesn't know why. It's like just a feeling. You. It's actually when we were discussing my grandpapa's fainting, but it's conveniently timed at the same moment.
I mean, just Henley's just gonna kind of like, see if maybe anything happens if they unclasp a necklace, and just kind of like,
Awesome.
I mean, they're not using it. Lady Ulna's not using it.
Henley, from Lady Ulna's desiccated corpse, you reclaim a gemstone encrusted necklace and 2 beautiful rings, one from each hand. And that's the sum total of the finery that Ulna was wearing.
Okay, jeweled necklace and 2 fine rings. And then Henley will just kind of like, just shut the sarcophagus and tuck away the jewelry and be like, and having done that, I think Henley is now like knows enough that they might get in trouble, so they kind of just are like, put everything back how it was, and like, and then leave and go back from whence they came.
Okay, you start leaving, you're closing the door behind you, and then you think, wait a minute. You never checked Sterum's sarcophagus.
Henley is torn. Because, what happened when Henley shut, like when you're kind of like stealing something from the kitchen and then you get it and then you're like, and you scuttle away. Mm-hmm. But then Henley successfully had scuttled away and escaped and didn't get in trouble. So then they look back and decide...
And that's when you hear the echoes that's like, yeah, we should definitely save everything from the flood.
That adds to Henley's fear of down here, and I think Henley's just gonna leave the other sarcophagus.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I thought that was an approving comment.
Well, I mean, Henley thinks that the flood is gonna come down here and they're gonna die. Also, as far as Henley's concerned, this is plenty of treasure for like the rest of their life.
It is definitely like I think this would be like a year's annual salary for like whatever Henley's profession was, like chicken butcher.
You could buy like 10 chickens with that
Yeah.
necklace.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How
All
much
right,
could a
awesome.
chicken cost, Michael?
Very cool. Then with that, the party regathers on the front porch of the House Dudet, ready to set forth across the swamps. with
Quickly
that-
before the other dude comes back.
Yeah. And with that, I think that we should take our first 5-minute break.